Hi everyone, good morning. So I made a goal with myself this year that I was going to do more content, and we're halfway through the year and I don't think I've done anything for content wise. So I just came back from Cancun, and while I was on vacation I kept thinking over and over again how I really need to do some more content. So now that I'm back in work mode, here's my first video. Hopefully I'll get better as we go on with this, with editing and posting. I just realized my YouTube account doesn't let me do a live stream. I was actually going to try to do a live stream, but that didn't work out. But that's okay. So today I really just wanted to talk about traveling to Mexico, traveling to Cancun, immigration checkpoints, traveling with family members. What do you need to know, right? This was my second trip to Mexico, so I feel a little bit way more comfortable now than I did my first trip. And we had a really good experience this time around. So when you first go and land in Mexico, you're a little overwhelmed when you get off or get out of the actual airport, because there are tons and tons of vendors trying to take your business and get your business, whether it be transportation, food, drinks, excursions. There is an overwhelming amount of people, all unfamiliar faces, all people who are not shy to speak to you, and people who don't have the best English skills. So it can be very overwhelming. I do know, our first time around, I was a little nervous about it because I've read things online, and so I got a little nervous about that. It's hard because as soon as you get off out the exit of the airport, you think you are in this area sponsored by the airport, but it's not. There's a bunch of booths and a bunch of people in uniforms for their companies, representing their companies, and they all have booths. So it looks really legitimate. Like, it looks like a car rental place. Like, it looks like, well, you and I would know here in the United States as like Enterprise or any of those car rental places. It looks just like that, like just a little booth and a bunch of them side to side. But don't be suckered in to one of those booths like I was the first time around. They want to be helpful. They want to answer your question and tell you where to go to meet your, hotel representative or whatnot. But they also want to try to sell you things. And it can be really scary because if you're going as a mom anyways, if you're going by yourself, you're probably not going to be as worrisome as I was, because I go as a mom. And I have my 2 young children with me, so I'm holding their hands and dealing with luggage, trying to find our delegated person for our hotel. But so don't do what I did, which was go to one of these booths and ask questions. They tried really hard to get me to purchase an excursion. I know Spanish, so I had the advantage to be able to tell them, no thank you, I'm not interested. But for those of you who don't know Spanish, you may want to just continue on, because I think you're not going to be able to communicate that part. Once you leave the actual airport, you're going to go through doors, and like I said, you're going to see all these booths. You got to keep going. That's not the end of the airport. There's more doors. Once you'll know you're out of the Cancun airport when you see Margaritaville. If you see Margaritaville, now you are outside physically of the airport. Margaritaville will be to your right. And then you're going to be swamped with a bunch of people who are just looking for their patrons, or their taxi drivers, trying to be helpful and ask if you need a ride, right? So one thing I suggest doing is calling, if you're using a resort and they're picking you up, calling them ahead of time to know where's the meeting point. So that was something both times I traveled I failed to do. My second time around, though, I traveled with a family member who went before me and arrived before me, and so she was messaging me telling me, oh, the meeting point is at so and so, go there and here's the number to call. So I did call, and when I called, they told me, what to look for the man, what kind of uniform he was using, his name and things like that. And then I was able to find my transportation. But it's overwhelming. I guess long story short, I want to tell you it's overwhelming. There's a lot of people. Do you need to know Spanish? No. Is it helpful? Absolutely. I think the people who knew the least amount of English were the people at the airport, your transport people. So it's important to know where you're going, just even some small verbiage of, I'm looking for, estoy buscando, I am looking for, and say your hotel name. I do know, because I knew some Spanish, I was able to say that to the people who kept, insisting to me that I take a taxi ride with them. I kept telling them, no, I'm looking for this hotel or so-and-so representative. And so they were able to explain to me, oh, if you hang out here in this area, this is usually where everybody congregates and meets. So I was able to understand it. Okay. Let's go back to airports, because I do want to talk a little bit about immigration when you arrive to Mexico. So you will fill out a form. Make sure you have a pen with you, because there's not too many pens available. There's some booths that you can sit on or stand on with the pens, but there's not always pens on there. So make sure you're traveling with a pen in your bag. You have an immigration paperwork to fill out. Very straightforward and simple. Your name, your address, where you're from, where did you come from, like what airport were you traveling from, your flight name, airline name, when are you leaving, where are you staying, all your basic info that most people just have in their emails, right? So if you don't have good service, you might have issues with this. So you may want to just take a screenshot of this information so you have it on your phone under your photos, versus having to rely on the internet just in case. I have Verizon, and I did fine with internet, at least at the airport anyway, so it wasn't a big issue. But better safe than sorry. You're going to fill out this form, and it is per person. It doesn't matter you all live in the same home. It's per person, including children. You have to fill it out. You got to have your passport number. Once you fill this out, then you can get in line. So don't make the mistake of getting in line and trying to fill it out while you're in line. That's frowned upon, and you probably will be told not to. They'll be pointing to the little booths for you to fill it out. So don't jump in line. This paper was not available on the plane ahead of time, so you're not able to fill it out ahead of time. They also really don't want you congregating where you land, like where you get off of. They rather you go down the escalators to a different designated area, so you free up the space where people are getting off their planes. So be mindful of that. When you actually talk to an officer, most of them know English, so that's awesome. Most of them know English. The immigration officer there knows English. They'll just ask you some really simple things: who you're traveling with, how many people are with you, where are you going, why are you here, how long are you staying for. Real straightforward. They'll stamp everybody's passport, and then you move on. Okay. Not bad. I mean, our traveling experience landing to Mexico was awesome. Leaving Mexico, same thing. Very straightforward. We had no issues. Most people were very helpful. The airline agents do know English, but your regular staff at the airport do not know English. So it's good to know some useful words like, where's the bathroom? ¿Dónde está el baño? Most of the signs were all in English and Spanish, which was awesome. So yeah, not a bad experience arriving to Mexico airport, Cancun airport, and leaving Cancun airport. Let's talk a little bit about safety in Mexico, Cancun. There's so many things in the media, the news. I always have, colleagues, coworkers, people I know asking me like, really, are you going there? Because of the things you hear in the news. I can't say I've had one bad experience so far, knock on air. Everyone's been helpful. I haven't had a moment where people made me feel uncomfortable. very, very helpful. There have been moments where people just don't know English, so I think that's always scary for anybody who doesn't know Spanish. But other than that, I mean, we've had no incident. We've always stayed at a resort that is secure, it has security, so it has secured entrances, it has security guard 24/7. They check your, identification in and out. So I've never had an issue. I've taken an excursion before where there was more locals and like shopping areas that are out, like I would say out of the visual of law enforcement. So that was a little weird, different. That probably was the only time I felt uncomfortable, because I would want to go into this one shop and look for something, and then the individual would say, oh, follow me, and bring me kind of around a corner 2 blocks away from their shop, So that to me was just kind of sketchy. So I don't like doing too much shopping in Mexico. That part makes me a little uncomfortable. But I'm a female too, so I think when I travel with my husband, so I feel a little bit safer because he's around. But I think those are the things that, if anything, I would stay away from. Try not to shop too much. You have tons of shopping at the airport. If you really want to get souvenirs or things from Mexico, you have tons of options at the airport to purchase before you leave. And then lastly, traveling on public transportation in Cancun, super simple. The drivers are super helpful, but again, many of them don't know English. So try your best on it, but they do their best, and they'll be helpful. It's only $1 to get on the bus. So I highly recommend the public transportation. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to bring up about immigration to Mexico, Mexican immigration. Traveling to Mexico, traveling to Cancun. I will have a follow-up video about immigration here in the United States when you're traveling, because that is a whole different story. Bye.